Hello and welcome to the sideboard here at Grand Prix Charlotte. I'm Ken Crocker here with Pro Tour Top 8 at Dragons' Heart here, Adrian Sullivan. Adrian, how you doing?
I'm doing okay.
So, as usual, Adrian, we're here with a spicy one in Modern.
Is it spicy? I guess it's a little spicy.
It's a little spicy.
It's a little spicy.
So you couldn't play Dragons at Pro Tour Dragons' Heart here. Not good enough.
They're not good.
But we're playing 4 Dragon Lord Ojutai here in Modern?
Yes.
So what made you gravitate towards the Ojutai here in Modern? It's a 5-drop. You don't see a lot of those.
Okay, so if you remember Dig Through Time and how crazy Dig Through Time was.
Sure.
One of the things about a card like Dig Through Time in Standard, it's great in Standard, but when you put it into Modern, it becomes explosively good because the cards you're getting are just so much better. I mean, in Modern or in Legacy, when Dig Through Time was legal in Modern, there's a reason it was banned.
Yeah.
And Dragon Lord Ojutai, in a similar way, obviously it's not banned, it's not going to need to get banned, but you remember any Standard match you've watched with Ojutai and how it runs away with the game?
Sure.
It runs away with the game even more in Modern. So when you drop it, that hexproof portion of it is actually really good. It's a brick wall against most things. And then when you attack with it, if they don't block it, and most people can't, then the game can just fall away. So you get to be a Silumgar Scorn deck. You've got your 4 Silumgar Scorns, and you got your 6 dragons. Yeah.
By 6 dragons, of course. Wait a minute, I only see 4 Dragon Lord Ojutai. Where are the other 2?
Nameless Inversion, that's a dragon.
Oh yeah!
That's a dragon.
Nameless Inversion as a changeling is a dragon.
That's
so
right.
You get to reveal it to your Silumgar Scorn.
Right. And I was going to play Crib Swap, but it wasn't good enough. So I had to go looking.
Just couldn't bring yourself to do it?
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing about it is the cost of playing black, that's real. That means you're going to take more pain from your lands.
Sure.
The benefit, you can play some black cards, like I'm playing some discard, but I mean, if Crib Swap was better, I would have played Crib Swap and just been blue-white.
So yeah, you are playing some black cards, so it's Esper. You got your basic Esper control cards. You got a bunch of counter spells and Scorn, Cryptic Command, Remand, Spell Snares, things like that. You got your discard with Inquisition of Kozilek. And then you got, of course, you have the spicy Adrian Sullivan fun-ofs, if you will.
There's a few fun-ofs.
So let's, we got Supreme Verdict.
Yes.
I assume that's just for, creature matchups.
Basically, one of the things I learned, a while ago at Grand Prix Chicago last year, I held a panel. It was called the Planestalkers panel. Okay. And Sean McLaren, I believe, was at that panel. He might have been at one of the earlier Planestalkers, maybe at Grand Prix Minneapolis. But one of the things, he was talking about his blue-white based control decks. And if you look at how he's built a lot of his decks, I really like how he's built a lot, but just having Supreme Verdict, having access to it in a main deck, can save the day.
Fair enough. And then the other fun of that we're going to talk about is Careful Consideration. So 4 mana, draw 4 cards. I mean, we have so many different card drawing cards in Modern.
Yeah.
You can play Sphinx's Revelation.
Yeah.
You can even play Dragon Lord's Prerogative if you're already playing some standard cards.
I almost played Dragon Lord's Prerogative in the sideboard, but I did not end up doing it. But no, why Careful Consideration?
Sure.
You know how you can get mana screwed or mana flooded?
Yeah.
So that helps with it. It's a very cheap spell. And when you're in a position where you don't need the card advantage, you can hang on to it on the end of turn and cycle through your deck. But there's also this other thing. I'm playing 4 Dragon Lord Ojutai. You can get dragon flooded.
Okay.
And honestly, spending, let's say, 7 mana to try to Sphinx's Rev for 4 cards, that's a lot.
That is
Spending
a lot of mana.
4 mana to get 4 new cards is great. And the combination of mana flood screw plus dragon flood screw, I didn't want to get dragon flooded, I didn't want to get dragon screwed, and Careful Consideration was one of the cards. I had at one point 2 Vendilion clicks to help out.
Okay.
But they were just really underwhelming, which is really sad because I like that card a lot.
Sure. And then, obviously, we have a fun-of package, I guess we're going to call it.
Talaria West.
Talaria West. It lets you get a bunch of cards in your main deck, but most importantly, it lets you get a Slaughter Pact.
Yes.
And Engineered Explosives.
Yes.
Celestial Colonnade, Ghost Quarter, and then Calciform Pools?
Calciform Pools. So there was enough room for another land that couldn't be colorless, and Calciform Pools is kind of colorless, but games drag out, and when a Calciform Pools is out and the game drags out, it's just dumb. I mean, if you've played against, and now I'm forgetting the name of the other Dragonland in Standard, but like when you're building up your Calciform pools and you're a Cryptic Command Snapcaster Mage deck, you'll get to this point where, like this last match, I had 7 counters on the Calciform pools, and I made a big play, and we had a showdown, and at the end of the showdown, I had 6 mana up. You know, so it's pretty great. There is a cost, of course. On turn 2, it's not very good.
Yeah. And then the other fun of land is Manamal School at Water's Edge. Yeah. So how many people have you caught off guard with that, with the Ojutai?
Just one. My opponent tried to kill Ojutai, and I untapped the Ojutai, and the look on his face was just, he was stunned. He was stunned.
Entirely worth it. And then you even have some more Fun of Teleria West packages in the sideboard. Sideboard's mostly your blue-white stuff, your Celestial Purges, things like that. But we also have a Pact of Negation as well.
Yeah, just one.
So Pact of Negation, I guess we're looking at those really unfair combo decks here.
Basically, one of the problems with Dragonlord Ojutai is when you drop it into play, that costs you 5 mana, which if you cast a 5 mana spell and you tap out, you can kind of be saying, I'm at the mercy of whatever you're going to do. So sometimes you have to wait till like 6 mana, 7 mana, 8 mana, 9 mana before you can do it. Well, if you tutor up Pact of Negation, what you can actually do is tap out, cast Dragonlord Ojutai, and then basically say, or if you just happen to draw it, but you can say, do you have anything relevant? And a lot of people, if there's nothing going on, can't just straight up kill you from there without spending, you know, a sizable amount of mana. So it lets you actually be much more aggressive with your Ojutai. So let's say worst case scenario. Well, the worst case scenario is you still die. But second worst case scenario is you cast the Pact of Negation, and then you're forced to tap 5 mana again. Well, that's not great, but you know, you still have an Ojutai out, and you can then attack with it, and perhaps you'll get an Inquisition. You know, perhaps you'll get Path to Exile, and you'll have maybe a mana or whatever. So most of the unfair things, you can actually be way more aggressive with your Dragon Lords, which is really great.
Awesome. Well, it looks like you're bringing Dragon Control to Modern, or as good as Control as we can get.
Well, I mean, I felt like when I was at the TCG Player Invitational last week, I had this moment where I was watching the Ojutai attack, and I don't like Esper Control, Esper Dragons in Standard very much. I think Black-Blue is just better, basically against every matchup. But it made me think, because I'd been doing so much prep for this event, how awesome it would be to be doing Dragonlord Ojutai in Modern. So I started working on it, and you know, 33 matches later, that's about how much playtesting I've got, I guess, plus the couple rounds here. It just feels pretty good. I don't think the list is a perfect 75, but I think it's a pretty good 70.
All right. Well, those 5 cards you guys can figure out. But Adrian, thank you for taking the time to side us in from the sideboard.
My pleasure.
And you guys stay tuned for more Modern action here at Grand Prix Charlotte.